What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video. And yesterday, the Patriots made another free agent signing, someone that we all should know in linebacker / special teamer Harvey Langi. And I apologize, y'all, for this video coming out late. I mean, I was thinking all day about Harvey Langi to the Patriots and just going back and forth with my thoughts. And I just realized, I never actually made a video on this. I was too busy thinking in my mind about this that I just assumed I already made a video on this, but I didn't. So let's hop in here with the free agent profile here on Harvey Langi. What does he bring to the Patriots? Where does he play? And is he going to make the final roster? Of course, all of that is going to be in this video. So let's meet Harvey Langi for a second. Let's get to know him a little bit. So Harvey Langi is a linebacker who does have a good amount of special teams ability. I think essentially if he's going to make the Patriots roster, a big portion of that is going to be because of his ability on special teams. Now, he's 6'2", 250 pounds. He was coming out of BYU as an undrafted free agent back in 2017 by the New England Patriots. I also think that part of why Harvey Langi didn't get drafted is because of his age. Like I mentioned, he was an undrafted signing only a couple years ago in 2018. He's already 28 years old, so he's already getting up there in age, but he seemed like a guy that the Patriots actually really liked. They wanted to pick him up as a UDFA signing because they gave him about $100,000 in guaranteed money as a UDFA. Now, I do believe that Harvey is a guy that the Patriots would have liked to have back onto their practice squad, and I do believe for a little bit they were able to have him on there, but then he signed on with the New York Jets. He spent from 2018 to 2020 with the Jets and is actually coming off of his best season and is now in his second stint with the Pats. In 2020, he appeared in 14 games. He had 6 games started with 60 tackles, 10 missed tackles. I would say that's probably one of his biggest issues is missed tackles. I mean, he's a guy that when the Patriots played the Jets, I believe the second time around, might have actually been the first time around. But this past season with Cam Newton at quarterback, Harvey Langi had 2 chances to sack him, but missed both of those tackles, but was still able to tackle Jacoby Myers once the pass was completed, which does show his hustle. He had a total of 22 run stops, 2 quarterback hits, 7 pressures, 1 fumble recovery. If we talk about him in coverage, he was targeted 40 times and allowed 33 receptions, which was a completion percentage for the opposing quarterback of 82.5 with 296 yards allowed, 1 touchdown, 1 pass broken up, and allowed a pass rating of 105.8. Now, if you want to talk about him as a special teamer, he had 1 special teams tackle. He had 2 special teams missed tackles. So that missed tackle is a big thing for him in his gameplay that has to be ironed out for sure. But he played a total of 45% of the defensive snaps with 513 and 55% of special team snaps with 242. Now, PFF gave him an overall grade of 34.9, a run defensive grade of 29.7, a tackling grade of 49.2, a coverage grade of 44.0, a pass rush grade of 55.5, and a special teams grade of 42.7. Now, if you want to look at his career statistics, he has appeared in 31 total games. He started 9, 77 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 11 missed tackles, 26 run stops, 2 quarterback hits, 8 pressures, 1 fumble recovery. The coverage stats are honestly pretty much the same as I just listed for you, so there's nothing too different there in that aspect. 8 special teams tackles, 6 special teams missed tackles, and a PFF grade in special teams in 2019 of 58.8 with 267 snaps. And like I mentioned, Harvey Langi was a guy that was one of the most anticipated UDFAs that we have seen coming out of the Patriots UDFA draft class in a while. So again, he was very hyped up. There were a lot of expectations for him as a UDFA. And he was actually able to make the team in his first year, which is a great achievement for him and is evident of that point that I just mentioned. But him and his wife did get into a car crash October of the 2017 season that is essentially, I believe, what ended his time with the Patriots. He essentially missed the rest of the season. He was coming back from this big injury. It was a whole thing. It was a big car accident. Like, him and his wife were in the hospital for a little while. And while obviously, like, that's a situation that sucks, like, it's never a good situation to be in, whether you're in it, whether you're hearing about it. Like, you just hate to hear that happening. But at the same time, football is a business, and, you know, he was still taking up money, and he was still taking up a roster spot, and the Patriots essentially just kind of had to cut their ties. And, of course, we know how history goes. He was released by the Patriots. The Jets then decided to pick him up, and he honestly found a decent amount of success with the Jets. You know, like I said, he was with them for a couple of years. Like I mentioned, he was able to put up 513 defensive snaps the last season and recorded 60 tackles in 6 starts for the Jets. So really, this season is where Langi really got that ability on defense, and this was, again, his best season so far in his career, and he showed flashes. The other couple of seasons that he has been in the NFL, he's really just been a special teams guy. And obviously, the Patriots know Harvey Langi. Like, that's one of the biggest things. He has experience already in the system. They've worked with him before. He knows the playbook and the system for the most part. Again, he was only in here for, a year or so? So not too much. But he does still have experience over a lot of these other guys who are just coming into the franchise for the first time, whether that's free agency, trades, or the draft. But he doesn't have a bad size for a linebacker. This is usually the type of size that the Patriots do like with their linebackers. And I think a lot of people will look at like those PFF stats and just his stats in general and his grades, and they'll be like, well, those aren't great numbers. And you're not wrong. I don't think, at least for now, Harvey Langi, probably not ever, is a starting caliber linebacker, but depth-wise, I definitely think that he's very good, and definitely with some more development could be a guy that gets on the field as a defender. You also have to keep in mind that the things with the Jets have been everywhere over the last couple of seasons. It's been hard for players in general to find success, not just Harvey Langi, but you also have to keep in mind that he is someone who's kind of had a bit of a journey career so far throughout the last few years since he's joined the NFL as a UDFA. And his first 2 seasons, he was playing as a special teamer. He didn't actually get to be on the defense until this past season, and when he finally got that chance, he was asked to be a starting piece. He was essentially thrusted into a position, essentially thrusted into a role that he just wasn't ready for. Now, Langi is going to be one of those guys that shoots the gap, a guy that sets the edge. He's not going to be that classic linebacker that you have sitting there, stopping the run, playing in coverage. In fact, in coverage and against the run were 2 of the worst categories that he had this past season. In fact, I read that PFF actually had him as the 5th lowest linebacker in both the run and in coverage. The Jets did, though, use him, like I mentioned, as a blitzer, though. And that is where he found a good amount of success. I feel like when he has to shoot the gap, when he sets the edge, when he's applying pressure, that is where he excels. Not so much when he's asked to kind of just sit back there and kind of wait for those plays to come to him, you know, whether that's in coverage or in the run game. His game is getting to the quarterback. Now, if this was last year, I would say Langi likely makes the Patriots roster. Now we're at a position a year later where things are much more vamped up, and it's going to be hard for Harvey Langi to actually make this roster because of the depth in front of him. Whether we are talking about veterans in Dante Hightower returning, Kyle Van Noy, Matthew Judon, or you want to talk about some of these young players and these rookie players and Ronnie Perkins, Chase Winovich, Uche, we are just stacked. And one of the big things here too, like I mentioned, is that he's someone who shoots the gap, but also is able to set the edge a little bit. I would say he's more so someone who shoots the gap and kind of blitzes through gaps rather than setting the edge. but we just have a lot of guys who essentially are already able to do that. And I feel like the guys who are already able to do that do bring more versatility in other areas defensively on the field than Langi does. So it could just be a situation where he's the odd man out because there's so many bodies there. You also have to keep in mind, we have guys like Bentley, we have guys like Jennings, we have guys like McMillan, Hall, who's going to be a really interesting piece as he was a starting piece for the Patriots later in the season last year. We'll have to see what happens with McGrone and if he's, able to at all get on the field. Now, overall, I do think that this is a really good addition by the Patriots because, again, you're getting somebody who's been in the league for a few years, has experience on special teams and on defense, has been with another in-division team, but has also been with your current franchise. Now, if he does end up making the roster, I essentially just see it being for special teams with him maybe now and then getting in to the mix, getting in with the rotation. But for the most part, he's just going to be a special teamer and then kind of a depth piece. But at the same time, we do know that guys like McMillan do also have experience on special teams. So it's really going to be a battle. Like, he is going to have to show out in training camp, OTAs, minicamp, all of that if he wants to make a final roster. I think you're beating out guys like McMillan. You're trying to beat out guys like Hall. And you just hope that somebody like a McGrone just has a red-shirted year. Before we end this one off, I want to talk about the sponsors of this video real quick, betonline.ag. Now, BetOnline has the fastest and the easiest ways to bet on all of your sports action. Now, football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are still in full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV, along with real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline also has you covered for all of the news, scores, and odds, and it's the best way to place your bets, and it's completely free to sign up. All you guys got to do is head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. This is BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. Get in with the action, and don't forget to use that promo code CLNS50 to receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. But guys, Harvey Langi is back with the New England Patriots for a second stint. We have seen guys come back and have much success compared to the first time around during their second stint. So could Harvey Langi be one of those guys to add to that list? I guess we'll just have to see. But like always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video. It helps me out tremendously, along with sharing the video and subscribing if you are not, for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, I appreciate each and every single one of you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.